Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, is my very happy friend and co-host, Nate.
And someone is smiling at me from the back of the madhouse, and someone is lighting a flame in the house that I grew up in, and someone will drive me insane with the same smile that you did, Mitch. Smile like you mean it.
Oh, that was something.
Look, if I'm gonna put in a Hot Fuss Killers album song in there, Chance for Smile the movie, I'm gonna take it, Mitch. All right, I don't know what to tell you.
I like it.
Look on the Mr. Brightside. Okay.
Ooh, you did it. I didn't know if you were gonna go all the way through with it, but you did. Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and debate a horror-related topic with our unsuspecting victim, who is usually not someone we would consider a horror fan. This week, Nate, you and I got a sneak peek of Smile.
Oh, sorry. More smiles. There's so many smiles.
Which we had coordinated. That would have been a little bit better. But yeah, now the movie's out in theaters, so you know, having the sneak peek not quite as cool as it was like 2 weeks ago when we saw it.
We saw this 8 days early.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone's jealous of that, but we did. So it was the opening movie at Fantastic Fest.
Look, and I mean, Nate, I think it's fair to say that we pretty much were going into it thinking this movie is going to be a big pile of shit. I think several of us in the lobby of that theater.
It was a Smile and Barrett. Smile and Barrett
for sure. So I'm interested to hear, you know, where you ended on with it. Yeah.
In the spoiler section, obviously.
In the spoiler, of course, this movie's still in theater, so we won't spoil Smile too much. So you know. Don't get, you know, she could be good. Otherwise, I'm trying to think, Nate, anything, I don't know. I guess I don't really want to have a debate question tonight. Why don't we talk about Fantastic Fest?
Let's.
So I don't have a fantastic, do I have a fantastic-ish drop? Let's see.
I don't know what that could possibly mean, but yes.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Is this a reference to Roddy Piper, who is a wrestler, who is also Chris Jericho is also a wrestler who you took a picture with at Fantastic Fest opening night, which is the movie right after Smile?
I got to meet Chris Jericho because he's in Terrifier 2, which we saw that night. Yeah, look, Fantastic Fest. I mean, you've heard us on. We love it. It's one of our favorite festivals. We don't. I mean, there's several people that go there as like actual like press people and podcasts, and they're actually like there to work. You and I are not there for work. We are there for drinking and watching movies. And man,
paying too much for drinks, scootering back and forth to our Airbnb.
I can't believe you were opposed to scootering when we first started. Why am I saying scootering?
Yeah, we scooted. We scooted quite a bit.
So, we saw. I mean, how many movies do you think we saw in the physical festival?
I have a document. Feature length films.
Yeah, because we see a lot of shorts too, and the shorts are always fantastic. But how many?
22 movies.
Yeah. So
22 feature-length films and about, I don't know,
yeah.
15-ish short films.
Several of these were secret screenings. Several of these are coming out and will be in theaters or pretty widely distributed. Some of them I don't know that they're coming out exactly when or if they've picked up deals.
I hope they're coming out at some point. But yes.
Yeah. So, we're not going to have time to go through every one of them, but Nate, you and I sort of kind of put these in like kind of tiered ranking. And let's talk about, I think we did the 3 groups. So let's go by each group. So I think we had, fantastic films, great films, and I think films were just called good. And I'm curious, Nate, let's talk about the good films. Was there one or two that kind of stood out in there that you wanted to talk about or hype up a little bit?
Are we talking about horror movies or the full gambit of
the full gambit? I know. I mean, most of these are horror, but some of them aren't. But yeah, the full gambit. What was in that good section?
Well, wait, hold on. We had 3 sections, Mitch. Because
and I said fantastic, great, and good. So the good one, the lower one.
Oh,
we're gonna work our way up.
Okay, we'll work our way up. Worst film of the festival was the first secret screening. Disney was at Fantastic Fest and a variety of films. All the other 3 were good. 2 from Searchlight, or 3 from Searchlight, and then this one was a Marvel one. It was a 52-minute movie called Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
If you are a deep comic book fan, that might mean something to you. But it was the first secret screening. It's 52 minutes, and everyone knows how I feel about Marvel. Not the biggest fan would be an understatement. And especially not at a film festival that features Birdemic 3. So
I had Birdemic 3 underneath Werewolf by Night.
Birdemic 3 was an experience. We'll talk about that in a second. But I will say that Werewolf by Night was just the most generically boring of the movies.
I would say that unfortunately for Werewolf by Night, they made they made the call to make this a secret screening. So like a lot of these you knew what you were going to, but there were 2 movies where they didn't tell you what you were walking into. And so this was the first one. And I think collectively people were disappointed because one, it's not even a full movie. It's really like about 50-minute kind of a
it is a TV special.
It's not a full series. It's just one special. It's going to be out in a few days, I'm guessing on Disney
It's out
Plus.
on Friday. Yep,
yeah,
it's out on Friday.
So I mean, I think that if you're a Marvel fan, and truthfully, I think that if you enjoy that era of 50 stuff, 50s monster movies and all that, I think there is something here you'll enjoy. Certainly if you're, what's the right word? If you're, if you like to be very abrasively contradictory like Nate about not liking Marvel movies, and then, you won't like it if you're that sort of way.
But if you're like, happens to not be quite,
if you're like 90,
good.
like, I mean, okay, you and Scorsese can go, cry about the death of cinema together. But if you're like 90% of the population that enjoys the Marvel universe, I think you'll enjoy Werewolf by Night. In terms of a fun Halloween type of movie, probably, it is certainly much bloodier of all the Marvel entries. Nate's groaning inside. What? Okay, so let me tell you. So the other one that I had in my good section, let's talk about Birdemic 3. So look, we've done Birdemic.
Oh boy.
Our resident ornithologist Taylor, unsuspecting victim. We were texting her videos and clips the entire night because the guy that sings "Hanging Out with My Family" brought in a new banger of a song and sang
Cosmic
it live.
Beauty.
Cosmic Beauty,
and
save it live. The movie. I mean, we were there. James Wynn's right there.
World premiere
for the world premiere of Birdemic 3. The movie itself is not great.
It's somehow less enjoyable than Birdemic 1.
Birdemic 1, yeah. I mean, it basically is. It's almost a straight ripoff of their first movie. You will. I mean, look, if you love seeing terrible shit, it's great because it's like the same really bad like cuts and
If you want to see terrible shit with one incredible song in the middle,
but
then you are in good shape.
But if you have the opportunity to actually see this movie in a theater with the people involved in it, oh, please do so, because the experience was so much better than the movie.
The lead of the movie was definitely drunk. At one point, the director took the microphone away from the lead because he was talking shit to one of the other co-stars who was the lead of the first movie.
I've never seen someone have their microphone taken away like a child.
The female lead said, "Oh, how'd you get involved in this project? My agent said to give this a shot, and it was interesting." And a fake bird, and I had 2 fake birds hit me. One of them's currently on my desk that the Fantastic Fest staff was doing during the movie. So,
yeah.
Highlight of one of the highlights of the festival for sure.
Yeah. So let's move on. I want to talk about let's pick
Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 we have to talk about. Come on.
Now, Terrifier 2 I had as a great movie. I think you still had it as a good movie.
Oh God, mine is much lower.
Yeah. I enjoyed Terrifier 2 quite a bit, and I hated the first one. I did like Art the Clown. I think Terrifier 2 is much better in terms of a very gory, very just off the wall, what the fuck am I watching type of movie, a horror film. I think it's going to be on theaters here this week.
Yes, on Friday as well. Everything's coming Thursday and Friday.
I would absolutely look, this movie is not going to be for everyone. For sure. I think you have to really like the kind of more grindhouse gore horror, almost really like grindhouse comedy types, shtick with it. I think if you like Planet Terror, Terrifier, like if you're a real big fan of Planet Terror, Terrifier 2 is probably up your alley. I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually a better.
It was much better than I thought it was going to be. There were some very funny moments, and there were some very brutal moments. Oh man, there's a bedroom scene in this movie that is, oh boy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh boy. No, it was good. We talked to the actor who David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, and nothing like Art the Clown, I will say. Mm-hmm. The nicest dude of all time.
Yeah. Playing
the dude doing some pretty depraved shit. At the beginning of the movie, the person, one of the people, the programmers of the festival is like, this is one of the more extreme movies that we have. Like, holy shit. And they were not wrong. So there you go. If you want to see a woman in a Xena warrior princess outfit with wings fight Art the Clown for 2 hours and 18 minutes, this is the movie for you.
Yeah. I guess what other ones we'll move into kind of our great category. Any ones to call out. So of the movies, I'll tell you in no particular order and great, or at least I have in my great order. You have movies like A Wounded Fawn is going to be on Shudder. You have Satanic Hispanics, Bones and All, which is a new Timothée Chalamet romance-ish movie, coming of age about cannibals, which it's a whole thing. Go watch the trailer. Decision to Leave.
Is it Eat Me by Your Name?
Is what?
It should have been called Eat Me by Your Name.
There you go. Way Sarah, which I think one of your favorite. That's actually that's in my grade. I think that's one you're fantastic. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, Way Sarah was incredible.
Yes. Yeah, I mean any of those you wanna mention?
Well, Blood Relatives was a really funny. It was a dad vampire.
Oh yeah, I don't have Blood Relatives on my list. We saw that. That was the last movie. I don't think I just.
Yeah, it was a dad vampire relationship horror comedy. That was good. And Wounded Fawn. Those are both Shudder movies, so those will be on Shudder. We didn't see VHS 99 at the festival. That's another Shudder one that'll be streaming very, very shortly, within like 2 weeks or so. I want to call out 2 movies in this category. One is the second secret screening, Hellraiser, which we will talk about next week. So skip that one. That's next week's movie. That'll be coming out the end of this week. And I really wanted to call out Satanic Hispanics, a Hispanic.
It's an anthology.
A Hispanic directed 5-part horror anthology. that was quite good and quite funny.
Yeah.
It was much funnier than it had any right to be. And I thought it was fantastic. There's a song that's I'm Gonna Kill You from Jonah Ray Rodriguez, who's one of the leads in one of the segments.
You can see Nate gushing over it on Twitter too.
Doesn't matter. That's incredible. Whenever I could download that song, I'll be listening to it on repeat. It is awesome. Wait till it comes out, but he'll be Jonah Ray Rodriguez. One of the main plot points in that short is that he's swinging a huge dildo. So for dildo of power,
that's all we're gonna get. That's all we're gonna give you. All this is in the spoiler zones. We're trying to avoid the spoiler zone. Excuse me. We're trying
Vote Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite is like literally the main kind of through line actor across all the different parts of the anthology. It also nails it and it's very creepy. So that was awesome. It was very good.
It was very
funny
good
and like good effects in some of the ones.
It's definitely a more fun, like, you know, again, there's horror movies that are meant to be very tense and fills you with dread and scare you. There's also some that are just meant to be just kind of fun. This is a very fun horror film. My favorite segment was the one with the vampires, and that's all I'll say because you'll know it when you see it. But it's so good. Without getting into too many details, I want to kind of talk about the ones that we saw that were the big hitters. So what we would call fantastic. I think up at the top of both of our lists was The Menu. So that's Ray Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy. That movie is going to be incredible. I mean, everyone's going to be watching when it comes on Netflix, but oh my God, it's good.
It's coming out in theaters. I don't know where you got the Netflix part from, but yeah.
I keep thinking it's on Netflix. Or Netflix.
It will be in theaters November 18th.
Where do I have the Netflix thing coming from? I don't know.
I
saw it on something. Maybe, yeah,
it's a big thing.
Sorry.
But November 18th, it'll be coming out. It's very good.
If
Mitch's number one movie.
Now, it's not so much a horror film, but obviously, if you liked In Bruges, there's Banshees of Inisherin, which will be coming out in November, I think, as well. That's Colin Farrell. That's basically all the folks involved in Bruges are back.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get Ray Fiennes in The Menu, and then Colin Farrell and Banshees of Inisherin. You got In Bruges. Let's see what else. I think Missing. So the Missing was a really good one. So for folks of fans who like Parasite, Missing is a kind of a similar style. It's about a daughter whose father goes missing after saying he spotted a on the run serial killer. And then he's gone. She's trying to figure out what's going on. Very Parasite-esque in terms of, and I say that because the director was an assistant to Bong Joon-ho as well.
Yeah.
So
on two of his movies, it's very Memories of Murder-esque. If anyone knows that earlier Bong Joon-ho movie, which is part of the Criterion and Criterion collections, Mitch. So there you go. Yeah, Missing. Incredible.
That one's more thriller. So, you know, and there's Holy Spider, which is, again, a great film, but not really horror. So I want to talk about at least the ones that are more in the horror area. Hellraiser, we're going to talk through in detail next week. You mentioned that, but we got the secret screening for that. I will say you should absolutely watch it.
Yes. Watch it.
Absolutely watch it. And then, we're going to talk about it because it is definitely different. And I think if you've listened to our Hellraiser episodes in the past, or for number 2, I think you're gonna hear a lot of things come back up of things we said. This is where the shows or this series should go. So I think you're gonna get a good discussion there. The other one that I really loved, Nate, Project Wolf Hunting, which I believe actually is coming out soon in the U.S. distribution. Probably not theater, somewhere streaming, but Project Wolf Hunting starts off as Con Air, but on a big ass boat.
Yeah, so it's Korean Air.
Which Korean Con Air.
Korean Air. It gets via boat,
and then it gets even more batshit crazy. It is. Oh man, it is. So
turn your brain off.
Well,
so
let
it happen.
Well, it's here's where I take offense, or I take umbrage with Nate. So before these movies at this festival, whoever's the programmer that selected it or, whatever, comes in and they do kind of a spiel about the film you're about to watch. They give you some kind of highlights of, okay, well, here's why it was selected or whatever. One of the lead programmers comes in and is like, so this one, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty brainless, but it's a lot of fun and it's way over the top. And it's one of the things that, the films we look at. I take umbrage of her saying that it was brainless. There are brains everywhere. I mean, on the walls, on the floor, in the ceiling, in the in the engine room.
I was like, "Where are you going?" Okay, yep, accurate. All right, well played. Well played.
Fantastic. I
highly recommend going to see it. Very fun.
Recommend. It should be streaming. I did look.
Well, it's got a limited release starting this weekend. That's just saying everything comes out this week. But yeah, I highly recommend if it's playing near you to go check that out because it's fun. Yeah. It is a fun one.
I think so we'll share our list on social media here, our ranks. I'll make a picture with like my ranked list and Nate's ranked list because obviously Nate and I have different sensibilities, I guess. We're mostly, I would say we're not too far off. There's a few that like are like Terrifier 2 is a good one that's like, I think I have much higher than you do.
That's accurate.
Yeah. But for the most part, most of our movies are in the same tier, but we'll put those in. So that way, if you tend to find yourself liking the stuff that Nate likes a little more, you have his list, you'll have my list as well for you people with good taste that like my movies. But we'll have those set so you can see where we sat on it. But I will say, I mean, even the ones that we said were great. I mean, all the movies on this list were really good. I don't think there was really any movie that was just like outright bad. Yeah. And one of those movies is this week's movie of the week, Smile. So with that said, first, before we get into it, let us know what movies of that list you're excited about. You can email us at TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com, TXPodMassacre on Twitter, and Texas Podcast Massacre everywhere else. Give us those 5-star reviews. We're in Halloween time, so obviously we've got some special stuff coming up this month. A good more newer films that are coming out, just because a bunch of new stuff's coming out. And we of course have a fun crossover episode coming. If you've been listening to our show for longer than a couple of months, I guess you will know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but I mean it's good for us because the movie's not great, but I'm guessing it's not near as bad as the soundtrack. Would you say that, Nate?
Well, we've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that claim. Well, we'll see. We're
gonna find out. We're gonna find out. We're doing our crossover, of course. With the Why I Hate This Album podcast as well. So they'll review the soundtrack of a movie that we'll review the movie of, and a little back and forth banter. It's really it's a very antagonistic friendship that we've developed over the years. Very exciting.
Friendship is assuming a lot, but yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to go with. But be on the lookout.
They reached
for
out
that.
to us, so it's dysfunctional, but I think it still works. So.
But leave us those 5-star reviews. Let us know what you want us to review.
Wrong Turn is still on the list.
Yeah, we're still gonna do it. I know
it's there. It's there for It's in November.
In fact, whoever sent us Wrong Turn, reach out back to us. We will. I know we've haven't been able to expedite it because of some other things. Maybe we'll hook you up with maybe a something special. Maybe an extra movie pick just because you've had to wait for a little longer than we like to put you.
You don't speak for everyone. So in
that case,
I'm throwing the flag and like hitting the ref in the face.
Oh
Review this.
Nate's finally started fantasy football, so now he's like sports references everywhere. Jesus. All right, well look, we got to get into this week's movie of the week. Smile.
My name is Dr. Rose Cotter.
What do you want from me?
Why is it that everybody else who's seen it is dead and you're alive? I've seen it too.
You have it.
It's smiling at me. Carl? But not a friendly smile. The worst smile I've ever seen. I am not gonna keep running. I have to face it. Rose.
Smile. Only in theater and special previews Thursday at 7 p.m.
We got our special preview. What I love about this trailer is that you can I would look, if you can watch this trailer and guess which scene made Nate jump in his seat and scream, "Oh shit!" in a crowded theater on opening night, let me know. I'm curious what you think. Which one of these scenes in that specific trailer? So it's the Smile final trailer from Paramount Pictures trailer on YouTube. Let us know your guesses.
That made you so happy. That made you so happy.
I've missed 15 minutes of this film from laughing for that long.
I was turning over to you. First movie, there was actually a scene where it's not a spoiler, but there's a scene where she's like literally doing some sound production to try to like catch a sound from one of the scenes that happens in the trailer. And I go over to Mitch and I'm like, oh my God, look at this, like sound design, like sound production stuff that Mitch does all the time is something in this movie. And as I turn back, corner of my eye, the jump scare happens and it got me. And I was like, oh shit. It was great. So it really set the tone for the movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you were basically dying for 10 minutes. So
I was laughing so hard. It was hurting. I thought I was going to walk out the theater. Like, I was like, great, this movie. And then you jumped.
You would have missed that. You would have missed.
You jumped.
Well, there was another there. Yeah. But that was a minimal.
But that's one of those ones too. Like once you jump the one time, it's got you at that point. You're just toast.
It got me from the turn like that. I could not have timed it out any better. Like it was just perfect. How I turned back right into it. It was good. I mean, the movie's fairly effective from that aspect. So I'll give it props there for sure. But yeah, that's probably the only time you're ever really going to see me jump like that. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. So drink it in, Mitch. Drink it in.
Yeah, I was.
You're still chuckling to yourself thinking about it. You're just like, yep.
Nate, in my darkest moments, that'll be the thing that you go to. Not my family, I was gonna go back to my happy. That's how. Look, if this were Peter Pan rules, that is how I would. That's how I would get myself to fly. That's gonna be my happy memory. Is you just.
I'm gonna go with your welcome. But I don't feel very confident about it.
Oh God. Anyway, I don't even know. I don't even know where to. Oh God. Let's. Without spoilers, Nate. I mean, well, I'll give the overall view. I mean, this is about a person who is. She sees someone give her really creepily smile at her. She's a psychiatrist. Who smiles and then immediately kills himself, and then now she's being haunted by this smile, all these people smiling at her a bunch in a really creepy way, and so she's trying to figure out what the hell. That's probably that's good if I can give without getting into any sort of spoilery type of area, but yeah, Nate, what can you tell us about this movie?
Yeah, so Smile came out. Well, I mean, it just came out this past week. So there you go. It came out September 29th. It is I want you to guess. So it now has 11,000 IMDb reviews, which means, people have been saying it. What do you think it is in IMDb right now, Mitch?
Okay. So I am going to guess that it is. Now, can I give you a range or do I need to be very to the decimal point?
Give me a number.
I'm going to say 7.4.
It is a 7 on IMDb.
7 even?
It is,
okay.
Yeah, it's so it's doing, for a horror film, doing pretty well.
Yeah, I saw it was like the highest grossing this week. Like it did very well in theater. So people are clearly going to see it. Which is great.
It's surprising. Yeah, it's already done 44 million in the box office on its 17 million budget, so not bad. Clearly, they spent a bunch of money to advertise at Fantastic Fest, which is where the opening was 1 week early. But hey, not bad. The director. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, not even that. Have you seen the pictures of all the viral marketing they did, like with all the like baseball games and shit?
Yeah, if you were watching some baseball or some other events, you might have seen someone quickly smiling in the very front.
Nate,
very effective.
Did you just keep your TV off at that point? Like you're just like, I just don't want to watch any of this.
I didn't mind. Well, I don't really watch a lot of baseball, so easy dodge for me on that one.
You know that's on me. I don't know what I expected.
I don't know either. I don't know.
All right, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So, but anyway, it's a first time feature director on an original horror property, with like not anyone particularly famous. We'll go through who it is, but like, just some people you would know from other stuff, but not bad showing for the movie. And I think, probably surprised us on like, how like quasi competent it was, for sure. Taglines on this one: once you see it, it's too late. Okay. The new face of fear. That's terrible. And pass it on. I kind of like that. It's just pass it on. Psst, hey man, creepy smile. It's you're next. Let's do this. This movie was a remake of the short film, not a remake, but more of a continuation of the short film Laura Hasn't Slept, from director Parker Finn. That came out in 2020. The same actress who was the lead in Laura Hasn't Slept was the actress you see in the trailer, looking like she might want to cut her face. So there you go. It's basically a continuation of the story as it goes along, which is kind of cool. They didn't just remake it. Lights Out, was Lights Out, the short film, just expanded into a feature length thing. This one actually kind of expanded the universe. Kind of an interesting move there. I like that. Parker Finn has not done anything else. There's 2 short films, in this movie, and then the short film that, one of the short films was the one that this was, based off of. In the beginning of the film, Mitch, I don't know if you caught that. There's a nice, this is a Paramount movie, so I'm sure it'll be Paramount Plus if you don't want to catch it in theaters after 45 days. But you'll see a nice curved smile at the base of the mountain. There's a nice little touch. I don't know if you caught that or not, Mitch.
I may have noticed that when we were seeing it, but I had forgotten. So yeah, that's a nice touch.
It's a nice touch. Yeah, they gave it a little bit extra here. The lead actress in this movie is Sosie Bacon. I guess I didn't realize this is Kevin Bacon's daughter. Kevin Bacon, and
she not even 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's 1.
Yeah, it's 1.
Yeah, 1 and done. All right.
And the closer, Kira Sedgwick, is her mom. So there you go. You got the Bacon and the closer. You might remember her from Mitch's favorite TV show on Netflix, 13 Reasons Why. You might remember her from Scream, the TV series. Mayor of Easttown with Kate Winslet. Narcos Mexico had was in a few episodes there. So mainly TV items. And now working her way into film. And I'll say she did a pretty good job in this one. I'm not mad at it. Acting wise, this is obviously a descent into terror type role, as many horror films are. Did a pretty good job. So not knocking it.
Yeah.
The her boyfriend in this is everyone's favorite superhero in The Boys, A-Train, played by Jesse T. Usher. One of the worst boyfriends of film history. It's not really a spoiler. It's just not great. Not great, Mitch. We saw a lot of bad husbands and
boyfriends
during Fantastic Fest, and he's in the top He's in the top tier. He was racing ahead, if you will, against other people. What? Come on. You remember him as JJ Shaft from 2019's Shaft remake. I went and saw the original Shaft remake with Samuel Jackson in the movie theater when I was probably way too young to see it. So just wanted to throw that.
Why would you even tell anyone that?
Just wanted to throw that call out.
Yeah, that's.
Just wanted to call that up for you.
That's not something you should be proud of, Nate.
Independence Day resurgence is another phrase of words that I'll string together to make you forget that. And that's it. He hasn't been in a whole lot. Obviously, A-Train from The Boys is the main thing that he's got going on now. We got Kyle Gallner, who is just a horror character actor of the top tier. You might remember him as Vince from this year's Scream. So there you go. You might remember him from, well, Mitch, there's a movie that I specifically wrote out here called Roost that debuted at the Toronto Film Fest. That is an immersive thriller. A young love affair becomes a menacing game of cat and mouse. Nothing and no one are as they seem. And then someone's just looking on their phone. That sounds like the perfect movie for you. What do you think?
I don't know what to think about the words you just said.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, what if I told you that Indiana Affleck, Casey Affleck's son, was in that film? Would that swing it for you?
Further away, yes.
As someone from Indiana, that's a bad name. I'd apologize to that kid. That's worse than like Blanket. Nah, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's worse than Blanket.
It's like getting named Daenerys. Like,
yeah, at this point, it's whatever. There is another movie announced that he will be in called Gullible Bitch. Plot unknown, Mitch, but compared to the last movie I described, which one would you rather go see?
Oh God, do I have to see any of them? Can I?
Yeah, you got to see
eyes plucked out.
You got to see Roost or Gullible Bitch. Which one? Which one do you want?
I guess I'm gonna go with Gullible Bitch because
there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome. Yeah, this guy's in a bunch of movies. Obviously, yeah. So this year, Smile, that Roost movie, Scream, not a bad horror year, I would say. Right?
Yeah,
I'd say pretty good. He was in. Oh man, there's just I don't know which of these bad movies should I talk about? There's so many.
Well, why don't we talk about the movie we?
Well, okay, so I guess the one call out I will make. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff, but the one call out I will make is that he was Cassidy Casablancas, aka Beaver, in the Veronica Mars TV show. If you've watched the second season of that, or is the first season or second season of that show, actually an incredible villain. If you've never seen that, and I get a Veronica Mars reference in. No OC this week, Mitch, but you got Veronica Mars instead, so you're welcome. Also was in Jennifer's Body, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, Red State. I wrote down a bunch of other ones.
I like how you wrote down the ones most of the people listening to this podcast would know, but no, you decided to go with Veronica Mars. I had to skip to
Veronica Mars first, just for fun.
Oh my God.
So there you go. And then, yeah, I mean, in general, there's not a lot of people like in this film really that are super famous, a little bit here and there, but just generally it's one of your lower budget movies. Like I said, it was made for $17 million. Low budget horror films that they try to get to hit. Sometimes you get Fantasy Island. Sometimes you Get Out. And this is firmly, I think, in the upper middle of, of that spectrum. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. What were your thoughts? Obviously, we're in the spoiler-free section.
Spoiler-free section. Again, I mean, I 100% truly expected this to just be a turd of a film. It looked very much like Truth or Dare, which wasn't altogether that great.
Oh, yeah. Also crazy faces. Although the faces on this one weren't as egregious as Truth or Dare.
No. This one, I don't know. I was just really worried. It was just going to be just dumb, just like creepy smiles and then people just acting stupid. This one, it was actually surprisingly competent. I think, competent never sounds like the praise you mean it to be. But I mean, I think in this one, it really, I think the overall story of the mystery of it was actually pretty well done. I thought the effects and some of the death scenes were really interesting. Acting was really good. Tone was really good. I will say, my biggest fear is that there's one particular scene in the trailer, and this isn't spoilery since it's in the trailer, so I'll mention it, but where you see the woman right by the car and then her head like just swings like 180 degrees upside down, right? And I was like, did they just give away the creepiest thing in this movie in the trailer? Like, that's not my big fear was, like, to get you to go to here, we're going to show you the creepiest thing, and then nothing else is really going to outlive that moment. While that scene is really cool, I can safely say there's other cool stuff in this movie as well. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Still wouldn't have called this this wasn't in my fantastic list in that list, in our ranking, but still very good. Almost better than I thought it had any right to be. I mean, what'd you think, Nate?
I agree. Yeah, it was.
Because I mean, you were the one that did Scream in the middle of the theater.
It was Scream is generous there.
I mean, you were telling people, you were trying to retell the story like, oh yeah, I was like, oh shit. I was like, no, you won, not that low.
No, it was more than that, but it wasn't like a scream. But I did yell, oh shit, pretty loudly. It was great.
Yeah.
No, it was an effective movie. I mean, it's not Rosemary's Baby or anything, but it's a story about, a spiral downward for a woman, especially one who is a doctor in a mental health facility, right? So, she feels like she can't get help even though she's literally in the place where she provides that help to others. So yeah, I mean, it's not like that kind of incredible descent down, but it's still pretty solid in terms of the types of horror films that get releases like Smile. It's definitely toward the top tier of those type of movies, right? Your Truth or Dares, your Wish Upons, right, Mitch? I mean, the way it was kind of proposed is closer to that level of movie, and it's definitely on the higher level on that side. None of the acting is terrible. Some of the effects are quite good. And I believe you pointed out one effect that was not very good, but most of them are good, I would say, on the overall. So yeah, not bad. Yeah. And we got a really creepy poster out of it that's in my house that will never go up. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, Nate, is this one that you would recommend people need to go see in theaters? Is it worth? Would you rather wait on it? What do you? And who is this movie really for?
This movie is for the type of people who will go see horror movies after they get like decent reviews and just want to go see it. Like, in the I would recommend go see it in the theater. Although, again, like I said, it's a Paramount movie. 45 days from, last week, it will be probably streaming on Paramount Plus. So I would recommend going and see it in the theater, actually.
Yeah. I think it's a good Halloween. I think it's a good casual horror fan film, right? Like, yeah. Like this isn't going to ruin your life or your whole day like The Lodge or Hereditary does, right?
Yeah, this is a little more consumable than The Lodge.
Yeah, you're not going to go out like watching Saint Maud and be like, oh my God, like just feeling like horrible about life. Yeah, this one's a little. I mean, it's not really. I wouldn't say it's not a fun one per se. It's not a whole lot of comedy in it, but it's got some. It's a good story. It's a good film leading into Halloween and into October. So yeah, for your casual fans, I mean, I think Unsuspecting Victim friendly in terms of. I think it's not too gory. It's got some jump scares in it, so but I don't think anything that you haven't seen or that your non-horror friends would wouldn't be able to like handle, right?
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way, right? These are the show times for horror movies at my local theater, albeit it's a very big theater. But you got Smile, right? You got Don't Worry, Darling, which is, I don't know if it's really a horror film, but more of like a thrillery movie.
The set sounded like a horror film, but
I don't know anything about that. You got Terrifier 2 opening today, this Thursday.
Don't take your friends who hate horror films to that one.
Yes, correct.
PSA on that one.
You got Barbarian, which I've not had a chance to see yet, or Pearl. I haven't seen Pearl either. But you basically have 5 knockdown, 4 to 5 knockdown horror movies in the theaters right now. And there's also a film that I have heard nothing about called Don't Look at the Demon. Looks like a Malaysian horror film. I have some interesting movies, or it takes place in Malaysia, I guess. So that's like 5 to 6 horror films that potentially could be in some of the theaters around you. This is I would just say go to the movie theater. You got a pretty good shot of seeing something decent anyway. Barbarian's got good reviews. Pearl, Mitch is just crying out to go see Pearl. I know you haven't had time yet, but you're aching to go see Pearl. So I would say see it in the theater, but why don't you just mosey on to the theater generally? You should be able to catch something pretty good horror wise, no matter what you do.
There you go.
It's October. There you go.
All right. And that comes from our sponsors, AMC. No, I'm kidding.
It's Regal. It's Regal for me up here in the Portland area.
That's
yeah.
right.
AMC is nothing.
On
here.
God's
Sorry
country, it's AMC. No, but all right. Well, look, there's only so much we can talk about with this one without getting too spoilery. So frankly, Nate said it's right. Get out to the theater, go see this movie, and I mean, overall,
Get out of here, witch!
because it's time for some spoilers. Nate, what do you want to talk about first of this movie? Because
okay, so
there's not I would say there's not a lot to this movie.
No.
I mean, there's not. Again, I kind of mentioned that there's nothing really new or no broken ground here. I just think it's just very well executed.
Exactly. It was put together well. The pacing and the tension carried it enough, like across and through the film. The jump scares were not overused, but apparently very good, effective on me at least. And it was just, the movie touched on themes about, traumatic experiences not getting resolved. It's about suicide. I don't know. We're getting closer to Lodge territory now, Mitch, as I think about it. This whole movie is obviously about, suicide and how it impacts others, right? Who also might commit suicide. But in a smile demon type way, there's a demon. That's right. And it has, it's not a deep movie, like you're saying, there's not a lot to it, but it's got enough of those themes and it pays them off at the end of the film enough. Where it's like, okay, yeah, like this is like, it's not trying to do a lot. It's not trying to go real deep, which Mitch, you probably appreciated, right?
Yeah.
It's keeping things like, it's got some themes and things floating around and they all kind of tie together and the tension is there and there's a mystery figuring out what the demon is or what happens, right? There's, it's pretty classic, cut and dry kind of that type of horror film. It's just executed very well. The acting is pretty solid. And then the writing is good enough to keep it together in an interesting way. So yeah, it's effective. The end with the monster, like you see the form. When you see a bunch of rows of mouths all with teeth. Oh, that sucked.
Yeah. Well,
in a good way. And it sucked in a good way. You're like, oh God, this is incredible.
Yeah. And here's the thing with like when you have that monster, because I think Truth or Dare did something somewhat similar. When we got to that monster reveal, and I want to bring this up first, because at this point, when they do the monster reveal and that there's kind of a demon sort of representing and manifesting as this, that's where I was starting to get very concerned. Like, red flags, alerts going off like, oh no, it's gonna get real dumb real quick here. right? Because up until this point, it's really been this whole like, why are they changing? You know, they keep seeing people smiling, and that's, you know, right before they kind of kill themselves, and you know, there's this sort of tracking of like someone's killed himself in front of someone else, and the cycle sort of keeps repeating, right? Because of trauma and all that. Then they start talking about this kind of demon being there, and when you first see this demon, it looks like shit. It really looks bad. It's like the only thing in this movie that is just really bad CGI. I mean, it looks like Spider-Man 3, Sandman, like bad level of or like Neo fighting all of the Agent Smiths bad, like in the early days, like that CGI, right?
How dare you besmirch Matrix Reloaded? How dare you?
I stand by what I said.
How dare
now
you?
when the beast changes its form again, though, and you see like the multiple smiles and that look. Holy shit, that's when it gets good. So it's almost forgivable, but I mean, that's almost like a warning if you hadn't seen it yet. And I'm curious if other people thought that same, or did you think the same thing about the initial demon versus the final demon? Because the final demon looks great. And so I wonder if almost making it look shitty was almost done on purpose, so that when you got the full one, you're like, oh, like it made it more of a contrast.
I did not think the first version was too bad.
Okay.
Personally.
That's fair.
But the second one was incredible.
Yeah.
so I'm I was okay with it.
Okay.
I mean, you got a demon with multiple rows of jaw to fit all of the levels of teeth, and they like come out like it's almost a staircase of like death teeth. It's pretty great. That's pretty great stuff. Again, the movie's not super original in any particular way, but the way it's mashed up and it's got just enough stuff to keep it in. I mean, that multi teeth level version of the demon was I thought it was great. Yeah. So that covered up a little bit for me, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's just me though.
Yeah. Any particular scenes that really stood out to you, or
did I mention the million rows of teeth at the end of this movie? Did I mention that?
Now I'll tell you this. So let's talk about my favorite scene of the movie, which is the scene that you jumped 500 feet in the air on.
500 feet. God, was there any like Guinness record people in the audience or something? God, get a record.
I mean, your soul like exited out of your body and for a brief moment in time. No. So there's a scene where, of course, she's listening to her audio, her actual like interview with the very first girl that kills herself in front of her, trying to kind of hear. And she hears this like, there's this like little like very small waveform that she's like trying to like zoom in on, and of course it's just like theater's quiet and all you hear is like I'm really tired whispering, right? Like, but you're not hearing anything discernible, and she's like keeping cranking it up. And I mean, look, Nate can attest to this. He's watched me have to do basically what she's doing a million times when I'm editing the podcast or doing stuff like that, just with music and all that on my system. And so he leaned over to talk to me about it. And I think I almost started smiling because I knew the jump scare was coming. You had to have known it was coming right there.
I was not paying attention.
You were not paying attention. And you turned back around just in time for the ghost to show up, or the smile thing to show up and just go, bah, like scare the shit out of her. And that's when you jumped. And it was great because I just saw it coming from a mile away and you didn't. And it was glorious. It was glorious.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Frankly, regardless of whatever I give the movie later in the final cut, that scene alone, 10 out of 10.
Okay, see? It's good.
Yeah. So some other scenes, another scene I really liked. One of the things I really liked that this movie did was doing a really good job of keeping you off balance on like what's real versus what's not. So like there's the point, like, I think everyone in the theater, the biggest like oh shit moment for the whole theater was that point where the house alarm's going off and she gets the call from the security center, and then the security person is like, "No, everything all right?" And like calls her by name. She goes, "I didn't tell you my name." It was so just well done because it's such a tropey. Like, I mean, it's not like that's something that's never been done in a horror film before, but it was just so well done. And then same thing with the psychologist checking up. You never know when it's it did a very good job of like, when is it not really the person and it's the demon thing or all that? Like, there's a psychologist coming in to check on her, and then she just starts smiling, and you're like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Any particular scene stood out to you besides the teeth?
Teeth was good. There's a part in the trailer, if you watched it, which is so spoilery, but when the smile happens, the neck breaks, and then the smile happens upside down when she's in her car. Yeah. After murdering a cat and then packaging it up in a nice wrapping paper and bow and giving it to her nephew for his birthday.
God.
Yes. How could you not mention doesthecatdie.com? Answer is a hard yes. Hard yes. So yeah, it was that was one of the highlights, and it was in the trailer.
Yeah, not even just the cat die. Her giving it to the nephew is just next level, just brutal. God, it had flashbacks to like the Nightmare Before Christmas. That little kid pulling the shrunken head, the severed little shrunken head out of the box in front of his parents, and there's like, what the fuck? Like, oh man. And then she falls through the table, and you're just like slapstick, and then she's like got flash, just like
fell. No, it was not slapstick. It was like, oh,
that's what I mean. It wasn't. It starts off like that, like, oh man, like you almost, because you see it so often in shows, and it is slapstick, that you're just expect her to just get up and everything's fine, but she's got like glass like embedded in her arms and everything.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was great,
man.
It was good.
So a lot of the kills in this one are really done in more of like the found footage, like security camera or police video thing. There's not a whole lot of, I think, kills in person, which I think was fine. I there's just a lot of weird people smiling and then just like offing themselves. So there's that.
There is a variety of scenes that kind of actually conjure.
I do assume that's what 13 Reasons Why is like, but maybe
a lot of the. I was gonna say the tapes from Sinister, but Jesus, you could go that direction too if you wanted. Damn. Okay. Wow. But no, it was. I don't know where to go with that at all. Nice callback.
Thank you.
13 Reasons Why. I guess check it out. I don't know how there were more seasons than that one. That first one was plenty. I don't know where to go for that. I'm done. I don't know. That's it. Yeah, I'm stopping. I'm going to stop talking.
We did it. We did it. Mission accomplished. No, so
mission accomplished. There we go.
I don't know. Again, there's not a whole lot other to say about this movie. Again, nothing really new here. It's just so effectively well done. And I think so. Let me ask you this: the ultimate kind of debate question. So you've seen this movie and you got creepy smiles and Truth or Dare. Which smiles were creepier? Because that's what they're both built on. They're both built on these creepy ass faces. I almost honestly think I'm leaning towards smile. Actually, doing
definitely.
This better.
It's less fake. That's why it's more effective, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Yeah, get out of here, Truth or Dare. With your weird ass Instagram filter. Anything else you want to talk about this one, Nate?
No, it's a solid, enjoyable, albeit formulaic horror film with an interesting premise. It's a little bit different. The demon is fairly solid at the end, and you get better acting than usual from a B to C tier kind of horror movie of this caliber. So yeah, it's enjoyable. It's a great, this is one that you could bring people who maybe are not as much into horror films. This Lisa, I don't think would hate this very much.
I mean, she wouldn't like it, but she wouldn't hate it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, it's let's start smaller here.
Yeah.
Not hate is where I'm going to go with that. And yeah, this is definitely one you could convince someone to come to the theater with you to watch this.
Yeah,
I think it's casual enough that would
with
work.
the reviews being what they are. Yeah, if you're trying to bring the unsuspecting victim in your life, and I guess our one lawyer is telling us that we do hope you understand. We don't actually want you to have an unsuspecting victim. Like, just FYI. No, don't be like,
give them enough clues where
they should be somewhat suspecting and that they know who you are. Yeah. And suspecting victim in your life. Thank you. Yeah, this is one you can absolutely take them to, or try to get them to watch it. I think, yeah.
It's good. It sounds like we don't have a lot to talk about for it, but it's just enjoyable. Check it out.
Well, so Nate, then I guess I just have to ask you, what's your final cut?
Final cut.
Nate, why don't you go first if you don't mind?
I'm just putting a reminder in just for fun that we need to talk about Turbulence 3 in the next episode. Just a reminder. just a reminder.
No, I mean, Mike, that could just be for us. Not everyone. Not everything has to be on the podcast, Nate. Some of these movies can just be for us to watch.
I don't know why I keep saying wrong term, but the movie that was requested was Joyride. I don't know why I keep saying.
There's someone out there who's like, I gave y'all 5 stars for Joyride, and you assholes will put wrong turn on.
Am I like? Is my brain just like rejecting Joyride outright? It's like, I'll say any other movie about someone in a car that's a horror film. I'll pick. The new Jeepers Creepers is out, man. It's just heads up there. For our final for the final cut on this one, again, it's not breaking any new ground. It's extremely competent. It was great to watch in a theater when you just turn into one of the better jump scares that I've seen in a while. When you turn into I was the unsuspecting victim on that one, and yelled, "Oh shit!" because I got caught. I got caught on that one. It was good, and then the rest of the movie did not fail the beginning, which is pretty solid, and it tied themes together. And it's not going to win any awards or anything like that, but I mean, I don't. Can this be a franchise? You can't do a Smile 2, can you?
Man, I don't think so. I think you got to leave this
Smile 2, say cheese.
I think you got to leave this one and done. I mean, yeah. Oh God.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, a lot of things should be one and done. But look how many Leprechaun movies we have, Mitch.
Well, that's because someone keeps buying the DVDs at Walmart or whatever.
Well, I buy Blu-rays and I don't shop at Walmart. But other than that, though, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Oh shits.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
It's good. It's good.
I'm kind of right there with you. 6 out of 10.
What? Same score? Oh, come on.
6 out of 10 inches out of Nate's seat from when he jumped. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't give it a 7 because it was fine.
I probably started at a 7, but that, to be honest, it's kind of awesome watching these films in a theater.
Yeah.
Seeing them a little bit early, you get a little bit seduced by that, and looking
and it
back
was the
at
opening film
more,
for the festival, and yeah,
we had bought these tickets like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
to actually go see this. So yeah, so I'll say a 6 out of 10. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, so much better than Any Right to Be.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree. Again, I think some really interesting visuals. The creature's cool. The ending's great. I like the ending. I mean, we didn't really say much about that, but I think, I think the ending was really solid. Story is really good. Acting is very good. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only reason why I think I can't get myself to a 7 is because there's, as good as everything was executed, there wasn't anything really fresh or new that I hadn't seen anywhere else, or that really stuck out, right? And And I think that's why I just can't get myself up to like a 7, but it's right there. And I don't know, that makes it sound like that. Oh, this movie's fine. It's look, I would much rather, I know I'm giving it a 6. I guess my point is I would much rather watch a competent middle of the road horror film than like something that was just something just total gore task. Like Terrifier is sort of the first Terrifier is a great sort of example. I would much rather watch a movie like this versus watching the first Terrifier that is just like, it's got some shit you'll never have seen before, and it's over the top and gory and all that. But it's in terms of a story, it's not very well executed. It's not very well written. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Okay. Well, that's good. No one else probably does, but you do. And that's the important thing. Nate, where can they find us?
You can find us, as always, at TX Pod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre everywhere else. Look, Joyride, not Wrong Turn. Joyride is on the list. Jesus Christ. It's been a long couple of weeks being at the festival, coming back. Look, give us a 5-star review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, the podcast platform of your choice. We'll put your movie on the list. Joyride's on there, so anything's possible. 346-246-3143. Give us a call. The person who requested Joyride, send us an email, texaspodcastmassacre@gmail.com, or call that number, leave us a voicemail. Let us know why Joyride out of all the movies. Why Joyride? And if you want to be extra special, maybe find the Gretel and Hansel person. Because Mitch still has a bone to pick with that person. Just, if you guys are colluding in any way, just let us know.
Come at me, bro.
Yep. Let's do that. And then I think we're going to talk a little bit more about Fantastic Fest for next week's movie, Hulu's Hellraiser, which we saw one of the secret screenings early as well. Another film that was better than we probably thought. That's a little bit of a teaser right there.
There you go.
There you go. We did it, Mitch. We did it.
I didn't think it would come. We would get there, but we did. Look, from all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in, and just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Good night.